Let's look at the easiest way to run Docker containers on Google Container Engine. There are just two steps: creating a cluster and then running the container. If you don't have the Google Cloud SDK installed on your computer, see the link in the description for how to install it. And if you want to run your own custom Docker containers, see my previous video on how to use the Google Container Registry. Step 1. Creating a cluster. First, open the Google Developer Console. Then, select the project you're working in. Go to the Compute section and select Container Engine. Then, click Container Clusters and click Create a Container Cluster. Name your cluster and select the zone. Then, select how many machines you want in the cluster and click Create. In a few minutes, your cluster is created. Now that our cluster is created, let's start running some containers. First, copy your project ID. Then, let's use the gcloud config tool to set our project ID, our compute engine zone, and our cluster name. Finally, run the get credentials command so we can access our cluster. Now comes the fun part. I want to run a web server running Nginx. So, I type in kubectl, then run, then I give it a name, web server, and then I type in -- image, and I give it the name of the Docker container or image I want to run, in this case Nginx. We can see that it created a controller called web server running one replica of our Nginx container. If we run kubectl get rc, we can see the new controller that we just made. The cool thing is that this controller will make sure our container is always running. Even if it crashes, it'll start up a new copy. If we want to run multiple copies of our container, we can use the scale command. If we run kubectl scale, then the number of replicas, then rc, and finally the name of the controller, which is web server. You can see now that if we do kubectl get rc, we have two copies of the web server container running. To stop our container, type kubectl stop, rc, and the name of the controller. In conclusion, we saw how we can create a Google Container Engine cluster and run Docker containers with just a few commands. Have fun and see you next time.